Y'all know who the original ladies' man was. No, it's not George Clooney, and it's not Harry Styles. It's not the dashingly handsome Ryan Gosling, and it's not even Ryan Reynolds. Of course, it was Johnny Bravo who was the original. But what if this lady killer was actually just a little kid? Johnny Bravo can't seem to attract anyone of the opposite sex, and this conspiracy states that it's because he's actually a child. So the entirety of the Johnny Bravo series is actually just one little dweeby kid imagining himself as a hunky adult. Let's face it, he acts like a kid, he doesn't have a job, and his body's really weird looking for an adult. I mean, it's possible he just skipped leg day, but look at everybody else in this world. They're pretty normal by cartoon standards. Also, in one episode, he does take a karate class with a bunch of kids. Now this could just be a gag, or it could be how he perceives himself, a super cool adult amongst a bunch of children. And on top of all that, Johnny never actually wants to be in a relationship with women. He just wants to go on a date with them. I don't think a kid has any idea of what actually goes into dating. He never says he wants to get married or anything remotely close to that. So it could be that he's just imagining all of this, or he's just a really, really bad boyfriend. Plus, his only friend is a little girl, and I don't see why some 20-something-year-old dude would want to hang out with an 8-year-old child. On the contrary though, why would women beat up a kid? Throughout the show, Johnny gets beat up dozens of times. These women would be arrested if Johnny was actually a kid. But according to this theory, Johnny isn't actually being beat up. Because he's exaggerating all of this, he perceives these rejections as physical pain. And how can we forget he calls some of the women he hits on mama? That sounds like something a kid would say if he was trying to hit on older women. Or maybe he's just trying to copy his idol, and who the character is based off of, Elvis Presley. Oh, and one last thing. He still lives with his mom. Things aren't looking so good for this ladies' man. So could this conspiracy really be true? Alright, fun fact time. Did you know that some of the crew from Johnny Bravo went on to make their own cartoons? Two of the biggest names you may recognize are Seth MacFarlane and Butch Hartman. Seth went on to create shows like Family Guy and American Dad, and Butch went on to create Fairly Odd Parents and Danny Phantom. Okay, now back to the business. As adorable as it is to see an 8-year-old kid trying to hit on older women, this theory gets stopped in its tracks by one episode. In The Time of My Life, Johnny actually remembers his high school years. In the episode, Johnny tells Susie about his first crush he had in high school. He talks about how he got all buff for her, but then she moved away and he couldn't take her to prom. Now, why would a kid think of a pretty heartbreaking story like that? Or how would he have memories of high school if he was only 8? Also, I don't think the Scooby-Doo gang would want to have some 8-year-old twerp following them around while they're solving mysteries. So considering all of this, I still think the theory is pretty good, but not perfect. So on the plausibility meter, I give the Johnny Bravo conspiracy 3 monkeys out of 5. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Cartoon Conspiracy. If you click over here somewhere, you can get a cool preview for next week's episode, and you can also catch up on any episodes you might have missed. Also, we have some awesome cartoons here on the channel Frederator Network that you should definitely watch, but make sure you subscribe to channel Frederator, and I'll see you guys next week.